Welcome back to our review show. This time we're doing the last three episodes of The Mandalorian Season 2. As always, I'm your host, Daniel, with my father and co host, Jerry. Say hi, Dad.
Hello.
Okay, this is something I want to address. I don't know if you know it, because I think it was just announced today. The Book of Boba Fett is not going to be Season 3 of The Mandalorian. It's its own show entirely, set during the same time period. Uh, I don't think they definitely didn't tell people that until a bit late. Uh, I also think it's kind of weird how they announced all those Star Wars shows and announced this one at the end of season 3. But I guess that might have been to avoid spoilers of, season 2. But I guess that might have been to avoid spoilers. But that's neither here nor there. I just found that kind of weird. Um, I don't know, because I know we talked about this, and a lot of people did. To my knowledge, it's just today, a few days after it aired.
Yeah. Well, they actually talked about
Mm-hmm.
uh, two other sort of spin-offs of this one too, happening around the same time. Uh,
Yeah,
Rangers of the New Republic and the one about the Jedi that he talked
yeah.
to. Yeah.
Well, I know. Yeah, I know. Like they obviously announced all those shows too. So, and
Yeah.
Rangers of the New Republic they think is going to be at the same time, but they haven't confirmed that yet. But no, I just found that kind of unusual that um, how they announced it and how they let people like kind of linger. Because there was a lot of theories out there like uh, this would be like season 3 would be Boba Fett, and then
Yeah.
maybe season 4 and 5 would be the other Mandalorians we had on there. But I don't know. I think that was kind of a weird misstep on Disney's part on how they announced it, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it will matter or not in the long
Well,
run.
they said that they're going back to the Mandalorian,
Hmm. Yeah,
but we don't know how much the baby will play into it or
yeah.
anything.
We'll talk about that when we get to the episode. But I guess first we'll start with like episode 5. Uh, was it 5? No, 6. Sorry. Where they go, which I think like last time I said my best guess is season 2 will end with him putting Gr- uh, Grogu, I still can't remember his name, on uh, at the temple and him calling the Jedi.
Hmm.
That happened in the very next episode, so I was totally wrong on that.
Hmm.
Um, I think the main point, this episode kind of had two main points. It was to introduce Boba Fett back into the series
Yeah.
as a whole, which everybody kind of guessed when he got the armor in the first episode. It was very
Yeah.
clearly Boba Fett's. Um, but also to, I guess, capture Baby Yoda, the big ending of it.
Yeah.
Uh, as well as we got
And
to see. Yeah.
the episode six was just sort of straightforward.
Hmm.
There wasn't much of a story there,
Hmm.
uh, but they did, as you said, introduce Boba Fett, and the child was sort of captured to keep the story rolling on.
Yeah. They showed like, it was a good action episode.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was good. There was good action in it.
yeah, you
They
got.
didn't.
Hmm.
Most of their things are uh, they keep the story rolling on, but they do it with a story that
Hmm.
you can almost say is you know
A little
an episode
self-contained.
that 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 is a real story.
Hmm.
Something happens in it,
Hmm.
and in this one, the capture, of course, happened, but it just moved on.
Hmm.
It wasn't a story with a real ending.
Yeah, it was more like kind of an ending
Yeah,
standoff than
yeah,
anything.
yeah,
Because you had, it obviously it also introduced the Dark Troopers and stuff, but it was a pretty good episode. They had some interesting combat. It had a interesting thing in
yeah.
which they were primarily protecting the uh, Grogu and I know I keep forgetting his actual name, Baby Yoda, but as well as they introduced Boba Fett. They showed again that he's really good at what he does, as well as the other girl who I forget who she was. Um, but you kind of and as well as they also blew up Mandalorian ship,
Yes.
which was a big thing. Um,
Mhm.
uh, but
And
yeah.
they'll have to be, Mandalorian will have to get a new ship
Hmm.
because the next two episodes he flew around in Boba Fett's ship.
Yeah, Slave One, I think it's called.
Yeah.
But uh, no, it was. I mean, it was a good action episode. Like I said, it
Yeah.
really didn't like, and I guess it did progress the story, but there really wasn't an overall story to the episode. It was just
Yeah.
action, introduce this, blow up the ship,
Yeah.
show kind of that. Which we didn't even really get any really great Baby Yoda moments in most of these next couple episodes.
Yeah. The well, the next episode was a good episode.
Yeah, I really liked this the next episode, which because it was very Mad Max ish,
Yeah.
with the like in which they're trying to get they know Gus Moff Gideon captured Baby Yoda. They're trying to figure out how they can locate him, and they
Yeah.
essentially have to invade a base and get the data from a terminal. So they have to go back to one of the guys that from season one who was a sharpshooter, uh, and have him that's arrested and have him
Yeah.
come and help them get it. I really like this episode, and I don't really know exactly why. I
Yeah.
think it had some of the. I think it was fun to see kind of a different action setting. That it was a
Mhm.
chase scene on a truck.
Yes.
It was kind of fun because you had the more. It was more melee oriented, uh, with them being on the back of a truck and not really being able. Well, one he really can't shoot the guys because it can explode. And it reminded me a lot of Mad Max this episode, at least the first part of it or
Yeah.
so.
And of course, in the second part,
Hmm.
he had to take off his helmet.
Yeah, which they did actually foreshadow pretty well, in which the guy kind of calls him out on changing his code to adapt so he can save Baby
Yeah.
Yoda and stuff, and how they're somewhat similar, uh,
Mhm.
which he at first really didn't want to admit. But no, I actually really like the scene where he took off his helmet because he was very clearly very uncomfortable,
Yes.
and he didn't talk at all. Um, and he was obviously he had to go and get something from a terminal to get the location, but it also shows how willing he was to go for it.
Yeah.
Since early on, like even though he might die before he wouldn't remove his helmet uh,
Yeah.
on this. And I like the nice little bit of character in which the guy looks away and tells him he didn't see his face
Yeah.
at the when they after they shoot up the place.
Yeah.
Uh, but no, I think it's Bill Burr who plays it, who played the Imperial Sharpshooter, and I don't remember his name. Who's a
Yeah.
comedian?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, did I just run over your tail? I think I ran over Howl's tail.
Yeah.
Howl's my cat that kind of comes and harasses me in this. And if you remember in the first episode, she immediately came as soon as I turned on and knocked over my water.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, she must have been under my chair that I'm trying to fix right now because it broke again. But this was just like a really fun episode. It was a very good self-contained episode.
Mhm.
I think this is the one where we also got to see like they kind of pointed out like Baby Yoda's weakness for the first time that how he can only use his force powers for a short time before he falls asleep,
Yeah.
which is something that they've done before but I never really noticed, which I thought was good. And it
Mhm.
was really funny seeing him in the tiny handcuffs.
Yeah.
Uh, but I kind of liked how they talked about like he kind of pointed out how they adapted their morals and stuff, but also at the end you kind of got the fact that even though he was worked for the Empire and stuff, he really wasn't that bad of a guy.
Yeah.
He very clearly had issues with what they did in places, and at the end of it, obviously shoots the thing and prevents something like that from happening again,
Yeah.
and shoots the guy who talks about how great it was.
Yeah.
and even he was. But I also like it because I think that's the first time we've seen a stormtrooper shoot and hit anything,
Yeah.
or a imperial in general.
Mhm.
But again, uh, but no, and that because something I've always kind of wanted to see in Star Wars is like two Jedi's get into hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
Just because I think that would be kind of interesting in how they could use the Force and stuff.
Mhm.
Uh, but it's still, and I always thought that's something that they always have the lightsabers or some kind of weapon. So you have some really good close quarter stuff, but you never really get anything other than that. And I thought these two episodes really showed a lot of that, which I thought was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because you had Boba Fett early on taking out the stormtroopers with the stick,
Mhm.
and then you had this one with I don't know who they were, but the raiders or whatever of the shipment they're trying to bring in. You had
Yeah.
him fighting them on the back of the truck,
Yeah.
uh,
Mhm.
which was cool.
Yeah.
No, like I said, that was actually one of my favorite episodes, just because it was something so different and something we haven't really seen. Because there's not too many big chase scenes in Star Wars in
No.
general, um, especially not even really foot chases, just chases in general. And it felt very Mad Maxy or Indiana Jones with how it was done, so I had a
Yeah.
lot of fun with that one,
Mhm.
and I hope they do more like it.
Yes.
Um, well, I guess next up then is the big episode, the finale,
Yes.
the one that everybody kind of talked about.
Mhm.
It's kind of interesting because one of the things I found this episode like fairly interesting, and it obviously moved the plot along tremendously.
Yeah.
As well as because we don't know exactly what they're going to do in season 3 now, uh, which I know I've mentioned to you. And we'll talk about the ending, I'm sure, in a bit. But you don't have that kind of ending without having almost the entire series planned out for a season.
Yeah.
At least some idea of what you're doing and where you're going to go from there. Otherwise, you're probably going to have a terrible series.
Well, the one thing is they've talked a lot about going back to Mandalore and
Yeah.
retaking.
Well, you had some of that stuff. Obviously, you had, like I said, they introduced the Dark Troopers, and he only really fights one of them. And I know you see a bunch of them get slaughtered at the end, but I still think they're going to be something that are going to be used as a threat more.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's a difference between the Mandalorian and a Jedi,
Yeah.
especially a powerful Jedi, because, well, Luke Skywalker, the big
Yeah.
twist at the end. But I really liked how this episode was kind of structured, in which they have him, they capture the guy, you learn he's doing something with, he's a geneticist, so, I mean, my best guess is he's trying to clone a bunch of force sensitive Jedi
Yeah.
or Sith or something, or stormtroopers. At least that's what their idea was. Um, you don't really know what happens to him other than he's captured and arrested.
Yeah.
Then they have kind of a clever plan to sneak onto the ship.
Mhm.
And I thought a lot of the action on the ship was really well done because it was close quarters. You
Yeah.
had the fight between the Mandalorian and what's it called? One of the Dark Troopers,
Yeah.
which was a really well done fight scene.
Mhm.
Because it actually like I've complained, and I still think the Beskar armor, the armor he wears, is a bit too strong
Mhm.
because he really can't be shot. But I
Yeah.
really liked like how it worked in this one, in which it was hitting in the guy on the helmet, and the
Mhm.
helmet was clearly stronger than the robot's fist,
Yeah.
but it was still banging his head against the wall,
Yeah.
which is something I think is always interesting. Like, and something that's they can have a lot of fun with like, yeah, and the armor is pretty invincible, but the person inside isn't.
Yeah.
So like you could hit him with a hammer or something and still like break his ribs or something. And I think
Mhm.
if they do something more like that in the future, it will make it a lot more interesting. As well
The
as like the things can't be shot. So you have something that's kind of a very good counter to how skilled the Mandalorian is with, and how skilled a lot of people are with shooting.
mhm.
Uh,
And I thought that they also know that the lightsaber isn't invincible
yeah.
when he fought Gus.
Well, yeah, you knew. Well, you kind of knew that, and uh,
Yeah.
I mean, you knew that like the thing they had can block it for so long, and obviously heat is shown to heat up, so it can't hold it off
Yeah,
infinitely.
yeah.
But one of the things is, and I do question this: did Gus lose on purpose, or did he not really care to win?
Well, that's a question that comes out.
Yeah, because it seems like I mean, I don't think he cared. Whatever. I think he was more interested in surviving the fight than actually winning or losing.
Yeah.
Because remember he mentions like I know you use this thing, I know everything about you. You can assume that. So
hmm
my best guess is he fully knew that the one person wanted the dark saber.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He knew that the girl wanted the dark
Yeah, and he
saber.
knew that would cause conflict.
Yeah.
And obviously the Mandalorian didn't. Uh, but I think he also knew he probably wouldn't kill him if he did that
Yeah.
because the one person really wanted to capture him, and he's obviously more use alive than dead.
Yes.
I mean, he obviously doesn't plan for like Luke to show up, but
No.
uh, that
Yeah.
yeah
I think he thought that he had him in the area, and his dark troopers would come in and save him.
yeah. Well, I think he somewhat thought it was partially he wanted to scramble the group in case they do manage to escape
Yeah.
somehow or something. But I mean, I fully think he thought the Dark Troopers would just wipe them out.
Yeah.
But I also think like it was a test of the Dark Troopers themselves.
Yeah.
Because before that, it's they've implied they're new and stuff. And I do think they look really good and intimidating.
Yeah.
But they're they're a bit slow. But you kind of got how like I said, how many problems they'd have with them. I think he also wanted to test him against these people.
Yeah.
Uh, but and also he mentioned he didn't care that he already got what he wanted from the Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
We don't know how much he was lying on that
Yeah.
because before they were collecting his blood, it sounded like, but they couldn't get much because he's obviously very small.
Yeah.
But how much did they actually get of it and stuff? It never really answers that. Um, and obviously he does try to commit kill. He obviously thinks it's still a threat out there, Baby Yoda himself,
Yeah.
because he tried to shoot him, then shoot himself.
Yeah.
Obviously not wanting to get captured by him when Luke showed up.
Yeah.
Uh, which I really liked how it kind of applied that is they call the Jedi. It's just a lone X-wing that shows up, and he just slowly kind of makes his way up through the hordes of the
Yeah.
Dark Troopers. I like how a lot of it. I really liked it. I wish actually all of it was just shown through the cameras
Yeah.
because I found that was really interesting and because they don't like. Yeah, they might because obviously Mandalorian met one Jedi, but he never like met Luke Skywalker or something, and
Yeah.
he never really got the full like destructive force that one could do.
Yeah.
Um, it also showed kind of a weakness of the Dark Troopers that they can't they're still no match for a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
but
we
yeah,
know that uh, the he has a work against the lightsaber, but we don't know if this guy had any. He didn't use any force, any things with the force against the Mandalorian. It was straight out
yeah,
fight.
yeah, Moff Gideon didn't, so we don't know if he has any force abilities or
Yeah.
anything. And I mean, you don't need to have the force to use a lightsaber, but
No.
I think like the whole reason is they're mainly used by Jedi is because unless you're heavily trained to use them, you're likely to hurt yourself
Yeah.
or something like that. They say,
Well, I think that their power comes out.
yeah,
Uh, I mean, somewhat they have their own lightsabers, and as this one was allegedly this dark lightsaber,
yeah,
its power only came out to the person. Somehow, Moff Gideon had won that in battle
yeah.
against, and then
Well, he said it wasn't. It wasn't like he said it was just a lightsaber essentially, but what mattered was the legend around it.
yeah,
That you have to beat the person to which is something I always like that this thing's only really important because of its legend around it.
yeah,
Uh, and I found that kind of cool. He obviously what's her name? I think it's Bo Katan or something.
Yeah.
the leader of the Mandalorian group,
Hmm.
um, uh, was had it before and it was taken from her by Moff Gideon. So we
Yeah.
don't know how that went down.
Yeah.
Uh, and now she has to take it from the Mandalorian, who kind of doesn't want anything to do with it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh, and like I said, part of that seemed clearly like his plan.
Yeah.
Obviously, uh, obviously Luke showing up wasn't a part of his plan,
No.
which I thought that was a really kind of I think they did that reveal and everything really well.
Yes.
Because obviously there's some things that I noticed, like he has on the one glove, which
Yeah.
obviously for his robot hand and stuff. But even at the end, I wasn't sure if it was going to be Luke Skywalker until it showed his face.
Yeah.
And I like kind of the parting of it, how he finally took off his helmet in front of Baby Yoda,
Yeah.
not really caring, and talked to him a bit.
Hmm.
It really got emotional.
Yeah.
At least I thought. Uh, yeah, and I thought it was a really good ending to the season too.
Yeah. It was a really good ending to season two. But the one thing is, we don't know if Baby Yoda's going to be back.
He almost has to be back. Like I
Yeah.
said, I don't know if it's going to be like a time skip or something. I've seen a lot of weird theories online if Kylo Ren kills Baby Yoda, which I
Yeah.
don't think they'll do.
No.
Uh, I'm assuming he's going to survive. One because he has too many merchandising opportunities.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Yeah.
he's also really popular,
Hmm.
and that would make people hate Kylo Ren.
But one of the things is, it looks like Disney's going to go all in with Star Wars.
Yeah, the
Uh,
TV shows in particular.
yeah.
And a lot
And
of it seems, at least and like I said, we don't know most of them. Some of them are obviously before like they have the one that's on the spy guy from Rogue One.
yeah.
They have
And
at least like probably Rangers of the New Republic is gonna be around this time.
yeah.
The Book of Boba Fett's gonna be around this time. They said, or like it's obviously happened after this episode of The Mandalorian.
Mhm.
How far
And there,
after we don't know, but
and we don't know. One of the things is that Disney has, up to this time, did most of Lucas stuff as animated. Now it seems like they're going to come out with live action.
yeah, they have a few I know that they said are going to be animated and stuff, but others will be live action.
But
Uh,
first, Disney has taken a real hit during the
yeah,
COVID-19 because they're big. The thing where they made money over all those years was on the theme parks.
yeah. I mean, they also said it's the first time in like 15 plus years or so, about 15 years or so, that there hasn't been like a Marvel movie or something.
Yeah,
It might not be that long, but it's definitely 10 years or something.
yeah,
Definitely since the first Avengers film and probably before that, but uh, as well as I don't think there's been. I guess Wonder Woman would be a superhero movie that came out
yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
That will be will come out. Who I know the woman's also directing Rogue One, not Rogue One, Rogue Squadron,
Yeah.
which I don't know on that. It could be cool because we could get a lot more space battles because
Yeah.
obviously that's what the Rogue Squadron does. But I wasn't really impressed with her action scenes in Wonder Woman at all.
Oh.
I found actually them to be quite bad for the most part.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Disney seems to have at least I don't know if all their directors they've just picked so far have been really good at shooting action in the Marvel films and the Star Wars films for the most part. Or if they're second unit directors, but they've always done a good job on that. At least well above average, I'd say.
Yeah.
Because even like some of the weaker action ones, I think like Solo and stuff had some decent action scenes in it, and
Mhm.
uh, even
Well,
Episode
I thought.
9, which I
Yeah.
thought one of its biggest weaknesses was that among many other things, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought that Solo, what they tried to, they should have concentrated on just him getting together with Chewie.
Yeah, and like if you actually look at like the background to Solo and stuff
Yeah.
and everything that happened, like that whole movie was like chaos, and it's amazing they made it like a pretty decent movie, I'd say, actually out of it.
Yeah.
Um, and at the end, it had too much going on. Had like all this bad press and stuff. A lot. I think a lot of things worked against it, which is why it kind of failed at the box office. I believe. I don't know. I don't know if it made its money back. I know it made its filming money back, even though it had a huge budget. But I don't know if it made its like
Yeah.
what's the word, as well as advertising back.
Yeah.
But but yeah, but no, overall, like I think like Mandalorian season 2 was better than season 1.
Yes.
I think a lot of the action was better. They kind of knew more what they were doing with it. Obviously, it didn't kind of have this sophomore slump that a lot of shows sometimes have.
And I think that they certainly have proved that they can do something more than Star Wars
Yeah,
with the characters.
that was.
And I think the Mandalorian showed that. I actually thought that Rogue One actually showed that because I thought they did an excellent job with that, especially the ending of it in the battle scene.
Yeah, no, I love the ending battle of Rogue One. That's
Yeah.
one of the. I think that's like the high point of that, because that one you get a bunch of great. It has a bunch of great shots in it and a bunch of great action.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Mhm. But we don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with Boba Fett. Are they? He's going to be on Tatooine.
yeah, or at least
And
it looks like he's going to be a crime lord, which is interesting.
something like that, or maybe he will fight the the Hun too.
Yeah, well, Jabba's dead, but we don't know
Yeah,
exactly. Like I said, we don't know exactly why he shot the guy, other than maybe to seize power or whatever,
yeah,
or he was abandoned, or obviously that guy worked for Jabba before. But
yeah. But he shot him and then he took over his seat.
yeah, so at least to me that implies he's going to be a crime lord or at
Yeah,
war with the Hun or something.
yeah,
We don't know yet, but yeah, that one. Like I said, I thought it was a nice stinger. I just wish they clarified it was a different show.
yeah,
I think they kind of failed on that, but no, like I said, overall, I definitely recommend both seasons of The Mandalorian. I think
yeah,
season two was better than season one, too.
yes, yeah. And there's no question.
Mhm. Big question is though, what are they going to do next? Will it be a time skip? Will it be?
Yeah,
And I definitely, I mean, obviously they implied the one other Jedi, the one Dawson plays,
yeah,
is looking for another Imperial leader um, that we haven't seen yet. But I don't think we're done with Gus
yeah,
by a long shot. So, and they still never really revealed fully what they were planning to do with Baby Yoda. So, they still have quite a few loose ends to tie up,
yes,
and you kind of have the, I guess, somewhat maybe even the growing hostility between the two Mandalorians. So,
yeah,
we'll see what they do,
yes,
and hopefully it will be as good as season two at least.
yes.
Uh, okay, I don't have anything more. Do you have anything else you want to talk about on this?
No, I don't think so. I think you went over it well.
Okay, well then, in that case, if you're watching this on YouTube, please remember to like and subscribe. As well as if you're watching on Twitch, subscribe. Thank you all, and have a good night.